chopping up, samples, chopping up, samples, chopping up, samples. Life is just out here slowly moving. Oh, don't you worry, I'm just chopping up samples. I'm just chopping up, chop. I'm just chopping up samples. I just wanna hit one and play. Life is just out here slowly moving. Oh, don't you worry, I'm just chopping up samples. I'm just chopping up, chop. I'm just chopping up samples. I just wanna hit one and play. One, play. Hey y'all, it's your fellow human being himself, Leo Da Slowly Movin. Hope y'all doing well, and welcome to another episode of Chopping Up Samples, where we go through my workflow as I take a sample, chop it up, and create a song. Now, in this demo, it's kind of going to be a little bit more simpler. I'm just going to do a breakdown of how I created a melody track based on a WhatsApp message. So it's primarily going to focus on the process of making the melody track, but I'll add in some other elements after I do that. So with all that being said, let's go. So I was scrolling through the messages in a WhatsApp group I'm in, and a lady by the name of Saralynne Brennan posted up a demo of a synth plugin that she was playing around with. And she kind of did her own rendition of Sweet Dreams. And I decided, ooh, this sounds pretty cool. And I just liked how it sounded in WhatsApp message form. And I just asked her permission. So here we are. And I kind of wanted to do it in WhatsApp message form because in messing around with vinyl plugins, I've come to the realization that audio is audio and you can sample anything and make anything sound great. So it's just a question of how did you go about doing it? So we're going to listen to the raw audio. So here we go.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused.
So that's all 18 bars of this. Now, obviously, I didn't use all 18 bars, but wanted to give some context. And if you're looking to explore Saralynne's music, the link to her SoundCloud page is below. Now, after listening to this, I first pitched this audio item down 4 semitones.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something.
So after I pitched this down, I chopped it up, imported it into Ray Samplomatic, which is Reaper's inbuilt sampler, and I got this rhythm just messing around on the MIDI keyboard. Okay, so that's just the basic loop that loops throughout. Now, with this sample loop arrangement, I added some reverb, added some high pass filters so that way I can cut out a bit of the low end. And I also added a plugin called Fft Peak Filter, which is a JS plugin stock with Reaper. And it sounds something like this. So what I like about this is it kind of sounds like you can barely tell that it sounds like a WhatsApp message at this point. It's given it more space, and it sounds like the FFT Peak Filter kind of gives it like a more rubbed out type of sound. So I don't know, it kind of adds like a vintage touch to this. The next thing that I kind of added is for the verse section. So in the verse section, you'll kind of hear a reverse plugin being activated and taking the audio and just reversing the order of the said audio. So here's what that sounds like. Okay, so what I did for the verse section was I automated the high pass so it can cut out a whole bit more of the low end, 500 hertz, and I just left everything else going. And because it's getting passed through the reverse, all the effects are being passed through the reverse, it just sounds very, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe psychedelic could be the term. I don't know. But that's what it kind of sounds like for now. Now, after creating the chorus in the verse section, I duplicated the melody track and I added a JS delay plugin called Delay Floaty. And for this plugin, I automated something called Delta Mode. So Delta Mode is basically something that Reaper has that can allow you to hear what the wet signal of an effect is doing. So this is pretty good for compression and EQ. I decided I wanted to try it just on a delay plugin to see what would happen if I could just have the delay without getting the rest of the dry signal. So here is what it sounds like just by itself. So as you can also hear, there's like a panning plugin being activated with it that I kind of also added to the track so it can just give it a sense of motion. But with this track soloed, I like that noise. That always like the weird delay tail that comes up. So yeah, that's what it sounds like all together. I think that's kind of like the basic thrust of the melody tracks. And with all that done, so I'll set this to the side. And what I kind of did from here was I added some kick and snares. Some hi-hats. Some clap sounds. And a bass plugin. And that's it. Don't really have much else to add. Here's the end of this part of the show. Now it's time to showcase the beat. But before I do, I would like to say hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and as always, shalom, peace. And without further ado, I will let Saralynne introduce this beat. So Saralynne, hit it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.